All right, we're looking at the championship odds for the 2025 Cup Series, and we had done a ton of previews coming into the season, trying to find y'all the best values, what you should be betting, what you shouldn't be betting, and I honestly had a pretty small Cup Series championship card. I have a Busher ticket at 40-1, which is still out there, so I really got no closing line value on that. But I thought this was a great time with not a ton in the news this week to revisit these odds, open these up, see if there's anywhere that we do find some value. So at the top of the board, it's, of course, Kyle Larson still plus 350, which, very, very short number compared, given how he's run so far over the past, really since that Coke 600 and Indy 500 run. Chris Bell plus 550. These are coming from DraftKings, and this is Thursday, July 17th, so odds subject to change. Ryan Blaney 6-1, Denny Hamlin 6-1, William Byron 7-1, Chase Elliott 9-1, Tyler Reddick 12-1, Joey Logano 14-1, Chase Briscoe 20-1, SVG now 25-1, Ross Chastain 25-1, Alex Bowman 25-1, Cindric 35-1, Josh Berry 41, right there with Chris Buescher and Carson Hocevar at 40-1 before Kyle Busch rounds out what I would consider the mid-range at 50-1. So, Rod, looking at these championship odds, and obviously we're encouraging everyone to shop around. There's not one place right now where you can see all the championship odds at one time for every book. Smart people figured out. People have a bigger budget than us. Figure it out. Let's get that taken care of, hopefully. But with this said, do you see any values, any misprices just kind of floating out there? What's your general takeaway from these odds? Because overall, for me, pretty short. And I don't love what we're seeing, not just at DraftKings, but almost everywhere right now for this market, Rod.
I mean, pretty short for Kyle Larson, especially, right? I mean, like you said, it's just been a very, very ho-hum second half of the season so far for Kyle Larson. And plus 350 to me, I mean, I obviously would not bet that because there's just no momentum for Kyle Larson, and it's very tough at all. And I know Marcus is all about his Christopher Bell plus 550. I like it. But where I'm really liking, Seth, and this is kind of a crazy little take, but that's Chase Elliott at 9-1. That's where I would start, because Chase Elliott he's the most popular driver, but yet week after week, we're paying more attention to the Kyle Larsons, to the Ryan Blaney's, to the Denny Hamlins. Chase Elliott has not necessarily been on our screen, but yet he's been one of the more consistent drivers that we've had all season long, right? Average finish of 10th place so far this season. It's just, For Chase Elliott, there's a way for him to consistency his way. And then if he ends up finding his way into victory lane again, then now we're looking at a much better chance for him to get there. And you won't get 9-1 for Chase Elliott after, I would say, the summer's over, right? So if you believe Chase Elliott has a chance, now's the best time to get in on him, because now's the longest number you're going to find on him.
It's a great point. Because this is a guy who's been there. He's done that. And while the speed isn't already there, I mean, you said it, man, consistency. This is a guy who I think can certainly, top 10 his way into the round of 8. I think it will be anyone's fight from there, but I don't hate the number. It feels a little short for a guy who hasn't had race-winning speed a lot of weeks. But nonetheless, I did want to pull up this great chart over from our friends at sportbettingdime.com as well that kind of shows you a little bit of a trend of some of the top drivers and their odds, what they've done. And as you can see, there really wasn't a ton of value to get in pre-flop in these favorites. Like, if you're betting one of these heavy favorites preseason, it was kind of a bad idea, and that's why I stayed away from most of them. Denny Hamlin, though, I see at one point here, Rod, right before he went on his winning streak, flown it out at 10-1. That would have been a great opportunity to potentially get in on Hamlin when we expand to the top 16 here as well. We've seen a lot of guys who odds have certainly come and gone, and a little bit of everything in between. William Byron's ones that have certainly moved quite a bit. And Shane Van Gisbergen, this was a guy who was all the way up at almost 400-1 just a couple of months ago before this road course run. And I certainly bet if you had a ticket on him at FanDuel around 400-1 and he's down 25-1, you're getting a cash out opportunity there, Rod. So a little bit of a potential missed opportunity for the boys here, I think.
Yeah, and yet, do you really want to cash out, though? Like, if you're holding on to a 400-1 and you got Watkins Glen in the playoffs, and the Roval as well, do you really want to cash? Is he going to win? No, but, I mean, how fun is it to sweat it, right?
Yeah, Glenn actually right before the playoffs this year, if you do recall, it did move a little bit before that, but in the playoffs still, we talked about it last week, still sets up really nice for SVG, right? He's going to get into the round of 16 if he can get out of there with his bonus points that he's accrued so far. Gets into that round of 12, it finishes at the Roval, he can win his way in there, and then if he somehow gets into the round of 8, the last couple tracks aren't terrible for him. Talladega and Martinsville, the last two before we go to that championship race. This is a guy who can get it done on super speedways, at least from a top 10 perspective that we've seen both Cup and Xfinity. And Martinsville, while he wasn't super great there in the spring, he had a top 10 run at Bowman Gray. He was top 12 there last year in Cup as well. So not a crazy statement to make that, riding SVG out at some of those long odds would have been a good opportunity. I think 25-1 now, if we've kind of missed the window there now, I would say though, right?
Oh, and it's not going back up again.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way the books, 3 wins, the way he's been running, it's not, they're not going back up. So if you got him at 400-1, what do the kids say? Hold, whatever. Just
hold. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you there. I did want to bring up one bet that I am laying down here that I want to throw out to everyone as well. And it is Christopher Bell to win the championship 6-1 at FanDuel. I think I said on one of our first episodes of this season that if you see Chris Bell above a 5-1, it's time to really consider it. I've been waiting around, say, can I get a boost? Can someone throw me out a boost? And then I get a boost, and then, I'm starting to bet like, Toledo would to win the MAC again, right? Like this would always happen. So I start to look at other markets, and I'm betting Georgia Tech win totals and, all these ridiculous G5 and Power 4 teams that are a little lesser known that I like to watch that, I want to get invested with. But to me, Christopher Bell, 6-1, I'm very, very okay with this. I think the playoff set up really well for a guy who has 3 wins coming in, no penalties so far this season as well. So hopefully he can stay that way. But round 1, Darlington, he's also then going to go back to WWT, Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's another short flat track he can dominate. Then into Bristol, and then round of 12 opens with 2 of his best tracks, New Hampshire and Kansas. Love that. And then we round out the Roval. He's a good road course racer, and to get into the championship, he's gonna have to make the most of Vegas, which he's done in the past. Talladega, good super speedway racer, and Martinsville, where he had some bad luck there last season. But I like Christopher Bell, and I like getting in on him right now, Rod, because I think the window for Chris Bell to get in now at 6-1, it's going to be closed very soon because beginning of August, we go to Iowa. He's going to be the betting favorite if I had to guess, him or Ryan Blaney for that one. Then we go to the Glen. That's another race that he's going to be one of the favorites at. And then Richmond. So from me, it's Chris Bell. I went 1.5 units. The only bet I currently have, I think I have about a half unit bet on our guy Chris Buescher at 40-1. And I actually do have a 300-1 on Cole Custer, which did not work out the way I thought it was going to.
No, it's like Wyatt, Cody Ware. That would have been the other one to put in on it. I mean, you might as well have put something on SVG back in the day. That would have been a much better return. But as far as Chris Bell's concerned, first of all, you're making Marcus happy, which is always good for the show to make Marcus happy. But listen, Christopher Bell, like you said, it's a lot like Chase Elliott. If he starts to get good again, right? I mean, look, we got 3 wins out of him almost, back to back to back. And so if he gets hot again, then you're not going to see these odds stay at 6. They'll be more Kyle Larson-esque at 350, 400. So this is the best time to get in on him, in my opinion, as well.
In the chat, as you mentioned, we did have Wyatt saying I might put a sprinkle on Cody Ware to win the championship. Never know. Hey, look, I will die on the hill that Cody Ware almost won the Daytona 500 this season. He was in the same lane as William Byron. He just needed to be on the outside, not the inside. Not only does he cash a lead lap finish bet for us, but he wins the Daytona 500. So not crazy, Wyatt. I appreciate you though hanging out with us. And TK saying SVG and Zilich will probably be the top 2 favorites for Watkins Glen at the Cup. I do agree with that, but I bet Chris Bell, at least I think he should be, closer back to 12-1 what he closed last week. So I'm in on Christopher Bell. I have that ticket. I have my Buescher ticket still that I'm riding out. And Rod, it sounds like you're kind of, going to potentially flirt with a little Chase Elliott and then staying pretty packed with the rest of your current futures card, correct?
Yeah, because the Chase Elliott right now, it's just the number that you're getting him at is a decent enough number to kind of speculate on.
Okay. Well, guys, let us know who your favorite championship bets are for the Cup Series as we head into the back half of the season. We want to hear from you. Leave us a comment below. Jump into one of these live shows. Give us some live chats as well. And make sure you're subscribing to the IBT Media channel if you're new, and check out the website In Between Media for some fantastic written content.